Howdy folks, Matt here, Shady Grove Ranch, Jefferson, Texas. So we just had a little power blip, and as is our custom, we got to diagnose something that was broken. so uh, praise God, it's only 90 today instead of 100 as it's been for the last week. We got baby chicks in the brooder house. We got misters on a lot of the poultry. Obviously everything needs drinking water. Wouldn't hurt to have walk-in freezer and cooler on. So anyway, power went down. I thought, well, I need to get the generator rolling. So I came over here and turned it on, flipped the switch on, and you know, then you go around to make sure everything's working. So I went to the well house first, which is a VFD controlled downhole deep well, and the VFD, which is a really complicated piece of electronic equipment that I know about 2% of how to control. It basically said, the power's not right. Didn't say those words, but you get it. So I'm like, all right, I wonder what's wrong with the power. So I go over here and look in the store real quick just to see if the lights are all functioning on both legs going into the store. And one of them, all the lights are super dim. So that means I got low voltage. So you come out here. First thing you do is you turn off all your breakers to turn off power to the store, the deep well, the brooder house, etc., because you don't want low power going anywhere. If you have low voltage going places, you're going to break stuff real quick. So then I came over here. So this is a really cool transfer switch. There's a utility breaker for the power company, or a breaker for the utility company, and a breaker for the generator. And they're tied together. So if you have one on, the other one's automatically off, and vice versa. So, and then all the power, no matter whether it comes from the generator or from the power company, it feeds into the middle section here, and then power goes to our distribution box, which we just looked at, and then it goes to all the different buildings and stuff. And so the first thing you want to do on something like this is you want to measure your leads, your legs going to that box. So here's our neutral. So I put my voltmeter on that neutral and measured leg A. Got like, I don't know, 30 volts, 40 volts, which is bad. Should be 120. Measured leg B, 120. Okay, so far so good. Well, so far so bad. But then the real question would come into place is the generator itself putting out bad power. So this is where our wires come from, the generator itself. So I was able to measure these, neutral, just anything grounded, 120, and I measured 120. So that was good, 120, but up here it was 40. So something's good, and you know, I'm checking all along here. So I got 120 up as high as I can measure here, and only 40 as low as I can measure here. So like there's something going wrong in this box. Oftentimes fire ants or even dirt daubers or things like that can get inside open switches and cause them to malfunction. Fire ants are notorious in dry, hot weather for getting into electronics. I have no idea why. Maybe they're generating water. Who knows? That was a joke. But why not? You know, they could bet they could do it, right? So anyway, I took the switch and just up and down to try to knock the fire ant nastiness out, which often works. That usually works on a breaker box. Didn't work here though. So my chicks are heating up in the brooder house. There's no fan, there's no water, there's no anything. And I'm thinking I got to get something done right now. So what I realized was I could change. These breaker boxes are set up, there's 3 legs. So this is actually could be used for a 3-phase power system, or you can just use 2 of the legs and use it for single phase 2 legs. So that's what I decided to do, is take off the one leg that was malfunctioning in A and bypass it by going to leg C, okay? Oh, which means you got to do the same thing for this. So move from this terminal to this terminal, and then up here at the top, hot power coming in from utility, which was off at the time, but you always have to assume it's on because they could turn it back on at any time. So you grab your fancy dancy welding gloves and your boots that are rated to 600 volts, and you don't touch anything while you're working on it. Like you don't lean on anything metal because that would be bad. Um, so anyway, uh, don't touch anything metal when you're working on anything that could be hot. So anyway, so I moved all that over. All of these, there's little sensor wires right there, you know, at every terminal on the top, on the middle, on the bottom. So you have to change all those over too to the correct legs because, for instance, the brains aren't going to know that the power's back on if it's measuring the wrong wire. If it's not measuring that little gray wire, it's measuring that one still. So you got to switch all that over. And anyway, it all worked. So praise God, got the ventilation back on, and got it all up and running, just perfect, just in time for the power to come back on. But hey, we're ready for next time, right? Until something else breaks. Thanks for watching. This is Matt Guyver. Matt, Shady Grove Ranch, Jefferson, Texas. Oh, my wife told me to tell you all that I did a triple bypass surgery. Yes, she's so clever.